This creepypasta contains adult themes. Viewer discretion advised. Hey all, I wanted to make this post while the events are still fresh in my mind. My bad if this goes against the rules of this subreddit, as I've just been looking for a place to get this off my chest and let the public know what I witnessed. I have to warn everyone in case anyone comes across the horrors that I did. See, I was friends with a former key grip for the Dr. Phil television program. I'd say was because we're not friends anymore after a dispute over a game of Monopoly. Yeah, I took all his property fair and square and he crashed the fuck out. He always had a bit of a temper, but this was the worst I had seen of him. He flipped the table we were playing on, hyper-realistic Monopoly board and pieces flying in every direction. He flipped the table, flipped his chair, flipped my chair, flipped me the bird, then started smashing shit in my house. He smashed my brand new dinner plates, framed map of the United States, my porcelain sculpture of a primate, freshly opened tube of Colgate, all with my 10-pound weights. One could say that his mental state was very much so in the direst of straits. I told him I wanted him out of my house and for fuck's sake, get some help. He leered at me, wild-eyed from across the threshold of my front door. "Help! Help!" he shouted. "I'll show you help!" He dropped trowel and exposed his penis to me. But where his penis was supposed to be was, it was VHS tape. It dangled on its side out of his crotch area, swaying in the breeze. On the label, I could see writing that said, Dr. Phil Lost Episode, and I had to pick my jaw up off the floor. He grabbed the tape, violently ripped it out of his crotch. It wasn't some prank, like it was just taped onto his body or whatever. It was surgically grafted to his crotch, and I could see the skin stretch and peel as he ripped it off. He threw the tape in my face and screamed about how he hasn't been able to have sex in 20 years or something like that. I really wasn't listening out of the sheer shock of what I just witnessed. By the time my focus shifted back to my friend, he was already in his car that was oddly Dr. Phil-shaped and puttered off, his car struggling to even coast down the road because of its form factor. I was freaked out, grossed out, and creeped out, all because my friend had crashed out. I then grabbed the tape and took it inside. I began to scrape the remaining cock skin off the tape casing, and I set it on my coffee table, sitting on my sofa and staring at it for 5 minutes, reflecting on what had just happened. I then grabbed the tape and put it in my VCR that I conveniently still have in my living room because I'm too lazy to write a unique explanation in this godforsaken creepypasta for still having a VCR handily available. I pressed play and waited for the tape to begin. The tape began with a familiar home video clip-on. It was one Disney used in the 2000s. The deep saturated blue background with the subtle blurred visual of a rolling film reel and all of that, you know. Coming soon to own on video. Played over the droning keyboard used as background music. After 5 seconds passed, the screen faded out and I expected to see some previews of some Disney titles that were coming to store shelves soon after whenever this episode was supposed to be released. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still scratching my head over the Disney Buena Vista licensing. Is it Vista or Vista in this case? It's kind of like Windows Vista. Nah, whatever. That's for another subreddit, I guess. The previews start with a pure black screen. There was a little bit of fuzzy noise in the background, the only signifier that it was working properly. All of a sudden, I could hear Phil McGraw himself speaking in a hushed tone. "Oh my god, I really gotta shit," the titular Dr. Phil said as the sound of shuffling feet could be heard getting closer. The sound of a toilet stall door opening and closing quickly, followed by the sound of pants dropping, was then heard. "I pulled down my pants and..." Bare-ass cheeks hit porcelain, and then a loud, obnoxious, flatulent sound was heard echoing through what I have surmised to be a public restroom. "This is a certified
Dr. Phil constipation moment.
And what followed was an actual anal explosion that made me think Dr. Phil literally shat himself inside out. A thunderous clap of ass ripped through the restroom, even clipping the camera microphone and drowning out the sound of Dr. Phil's shouts of anguish. After about 15 seconds, the torrential diarrhea monsoon died out. The only noise accompanying the silence was the whimpers of McGraw as he recovered from the thunder from down under.
That was a lot!
Dr. Phil exclaimed before another loud fart reverberated in the toilet like some kind of fucked up anal echo chamber. There was then some rustling, which might have been him wiping his ass, and then the toilet flushed. He retched at the smell.
Oh man, that's one smelly motherfucker.
Dr. Phil muttered before running out of the bathroom, not even bothering to wash his hands. After this scene, the screen then lit up with the Disney film reel bumper again. And now, our feature presentation. So, the previews Disney played were just Dr. Phil taking a shit. It sounded like a damn washing machine. Okay, that tracks. Either way, I pressed on.
The show then began.
Dr. Phil appeared on his usual set in front of a live studio audience.
I'm Dr. Phil McGraw, psychologist and men's sexual health expert, and this is my show.
Wait. Men's sexual health expert? When was this? I couldn't explain it one bit, and I still can't. Everything I could find on Dr. Phil shows no history of him being a men's health expert, especially of the sexual kind. The Dr. Phil intro played, but it was reversed and in G major. In every live B-roll shot of Dr. Phil, there was a toilet sitting in a dark corner of the stage, sitting there, watching, judging. The show then went on. Dr. Phil took the stage, the toilet now no longer seen, to loud applause from the studio audience.
Thank you.
Dr. Phil waved as he made his way out from stage left. He jogged down the rows of audience members, smiling from ear to ear, hands out, high-fiving the crowd like some kind of rock star, as he then made his way back to the center of the stage.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all ready for a nice show today as we journey into the human mind.
Now, I've never seen an episode of Dr. Phil before, but I don't think this is how it normally begins. Maybe an experimental format change? I couldn't get any info on this potential format change anywhere. Dr. Phil looked directly at the camera and it zoomed in quickly with a dramatic sting.
A game of Monopoly goes violently wrong. What do two grown men do to resolve this?
My heart sank into my balls when I heard this. McGraw continued.
Here today are the two men at odds with one another. Jimmy and Bobby are in the building with us today. Come out, fellas.
My blood turned cold. My name is Bobby. My ex-friend's name is Jimmy. What the actual hell is this? How? I don't remember doing this. The Monopoly freakout happened just 30 minutes prior. Sure enough, two people who looked just like myself and Jimmy walked out onto the soundstage and sat in chairs across from Dr. Phil.
Now, Jimmy here works on the show as a grip. He's known around here as the guy who hangs from the studio rafters like a possum, but instead of hanging by his tail, he hangs by his little Jimmy.
Dr. Phil leers at the camera, and it zooms in on his face.
His penis.
He leans on the edge of his seat.
Penis.
He snaps back into his seat.
Anyway, Jimmy and Bobby are here with us this morning.
The audience claps and cheers, obviously for us, but Dr. Phil takes the credit with another, "Thank you, thank you." It was here that I noticed the presence of several Taco Bell items on the table between us. Dr. Phil reaches for one of the crunchy Taco Supremes and unwraps it, beginning the session.
So tell me, boys, okay? How did this all begin? Jimmy comes over to Bobby's place, Bobby pulls out the Monopoly game, and the two of you begin. So, what happened?
He sank his teeth into the taco, shredded lettuce sticking to the side of his mouth as he chewed rather noisily. Jimmy explained it from a very one-sided perspective.
Well, this motherfucker stole all my property. He obviously cheated with how he was rolling the dice. It's not the first time he gamed the system in Monopoly.
What stuck out to me is that motherfucker wasn't bleeped out, motherfucker. Motherfucker. My doppelganger tried to explain it from the true perspective that he just sucks at Monopoly and doesn't understand it. But as soon as I started talking, Dr. Phil started eating his taco very loudly, the taco shell crunching at extremely high volumes and smacking his lips while chewing, as well as fumbling with the wrapper.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you repeat that?
McGraw asked with his mouth full, spitting soggy taco bits into my doppelganger's lap. Well, I was saying that Dr. Phil snatched another Taco Supreme from the table and violently unwrapped it, stuffing it into his gullet and munching loudly in a rude manner.
Well, what's that? I can't hear you over the sound of the Taco Bell that's entered my mouth hole, okay?
My doppelganger's face crumpled, and he put his hands up in defense. I'm trying to tell my side of the story, but you're eating. Dr. Phil nodded as he sucked the sour cream off his fingertips.
Now, how's that working for you?
He asked. My doppelganger stammered. Not well. Dr. Phil gestured towards the pile of assorted Taco Bell products that were on the table.
Don't mind me. Our catering crew was a little late today and needed to improvise. Take as much as you like, I don't mind.
Dr. Phil picked up a Baja Blast and began to suck it down with great glee. Not that I blame him, I'm quite fond of that blast of the Baja myself, but this wasn't the time to eat Tex-Mex fast food. This isn't the time to eat Tex-Mex fast food. My doppelganger reflected my sentiment word for word. Dr. Phil shrugged.
I just thought a dispute like this would be best solved by getting everyone together and breaking bread. I am a psychologist after all.
Jimmy eagerly swiped a Mexican pizza with extra lettuce off the table and began feasting on the delicious specimen. And then... Then Dr. Phil grabbed his stomach and lurched forward a little bit.
Well, we'll be right back after these messages,
he says as the shot crossfades to a wide shot of the stage, showing my doppelganger sitting there awkwardly, Jimmy devouring his Mexican pizza, and Dr. Phil standing up, clutching his stomach as he shuffles off stage. The commercial break wasn't any better. There was an advertisement for Taco Bell advertising the Enchilito, a TV spot for Toy Story 5, which, oddly enough, Woody looked really off-model, kind of like a ventriloquist puppet. It was also what seemed like an advertisement for male enhancement pills taped over by camcorder footage of Mike Myers in full Cat in the Hat costume taking a shit in a human-sized litter box, and a 15-second PSA of SpongeBob SquarePants in full frame staring into the camera, staring at me, wide-eyed, bloodshot, and repeatedly shouting, "Don't eat the lettuce! Don't eat the lettuce!" There was also an advertisement for some cursed-ass product from Jell-O, of all things, called Blood Pops, featuring 89-year-old Bill Cosby, unable to look straight into the camera because he's old, blind, and a disgusting rapist.
Jello blood pops are for all ages of the family, young and old. Anyone who believes in all things evil.
He sticks out his tongue and wags it at the camera. Oh, he's freaky. Plastic skeletons were thrown onto the set behind him, clattering to the floor with the hollow plastic sounds only Dollar Tree decorations can provide.
This month only, get 2 boxes of Jello blood pops in any flavor of your choosing for only 67 cents.
Bill Cosby then did the 6-7 hand motion, and I decided I had enough of this bullshit. I tried to shut off the VCR, but it wasn't working. I tried ejecting the tape, but no dice. I was about to stick a fork in the electrical socket and unplug the VCR, not in that order, but that's what I was going to do, and that's when I heard the commercial grind to a halt. Cosby's voice was loud and clear through my soundbar.
Unplug this tape and I'll unplug your dick,
the disgraced comedian said menacingly. I looked back at the screen and saw Cosby scowling vaguely in the direction of the camera. The ad continued from there with no incident.
Jello blood pops combine what you love about Jello gelatin and mix it with real human blood.
Cosby took a slurp from a pop and his eyes grew so wide that the eyeballs nearly fell out.
Jello blood pops, rot your soul,
Cosby concluded, smiling at the camera and holding 2 boxes of these cursed blood pops. One flavor named Original Red Iron and the other named Orange Delight. The commercial faded out and one last PSA played. This one was narrated by Dr. Phil.
This is a public service announcement from Dr. Phil McGraw.
Phil started. On screen was a photo of assorted fruit in a basket on a table. The composition of this photo heavily reminded me of the Burger King Pokeball PSA from the late 90s. He continued.
Dr. Phil says no putting fruit snacks down your willy hole.
What? Who would stuff fruit snacks into their... What? Why?
It will not make your spunky junk juice taste like fruit.
Dr. Phil began barking like an agitated dog.
It will not make it taste like raspberry red, lemon yellow, or orange, so you better not be mashing any of those gushy gummies past your glands, okay? This has been Dr. Phil, and Practice Safe Sex.
The PSA ended there. The show returned with even more horrific absurdity. Instead of the Dr. Phil studio, it was now taking place in my living room. I looked around the actual room, and obviously there was no Dr. Phil, no facsimile of myself or Jimmy, no cameras, no studio audience. I kept watching, my blood turning cold. Dr. Phil looked visibly uncomfortable. He was clenching his stomach, yet attempting to keep his professional manner. His face was drained of color, and he looked rather sick.
Welcome back to the Dr. Phil television program. We have Bobby, Jimmy here back with us. Still sorting out their coral.
Jimmy also looked poorly. He was leaning back in his seat, palms over his tum-tum, and he was breathing rather heavily.
Parasites!
Dr. Phil suddenly shouted.
There are parasites in the lettuce!
He waved his hands in the air and wagged his bushy mustache as he screamed. He let out a loud fart, then another. A third fart lifted him several inches out of his seat, the flatulence sounding like a propeller taking off. And he skittered back off set. Smash cut to the restroom scene from the beginning of the tape. This time it was from the POV of the cameraman and boom operator following McGraw into the restroom, into the very stall Phil was about to exercise his asshole in. Oh, it was even more horrific a second time. McGraw's ass was roaring with the tenacity of a demon from the deepest pit of hell. Hyper-realistic diarrhea sounds emitting from the daytime TV star's rectum.
His mustache flapped and fluttered as he fought for his life on the porcelain throne, his eyes bugging out of their eye sockets as he fought an uphill battle on the mountain of Grand Shittin. His ass ripped and shrieked with such force it peaked the boom mic and reverberated throughout the restroom. As his asshole was blowing itself to smithereens, a news ticker appeared on the bottom third of the screen, reporting an outbreak of cyclospora in various food items such as lettuce, parsley, and cilantro. The credits began to roll on this cursed episode of the Dr. Phil television program, with every name in the credits being Phil McGraw, with the exception of the catering crew, being dedicated to Taco Bell. The year printed on the credits was 2004, a whole 22 years ago. The tape ended with no production cards or logos, just a shot of the CEO of Taylor Farms, Bruce Taylor, in a dark room with one overhead light illuminating him. He was holding salad spoons and laughing at the camera. He began to chant, "Shit your pants, shit your pants, shit your pants, shit your pants." As he kept chanting, I swear it began to morph into him saying something completely different. "Shit your pants, the government did 9/11. I was beginning to think something was askew with Mr. Taylor. He then gestured at the camera, at me, and said, "Open wide, you little cheating bitch." He then jabbed a spoonful of lettuce at the camera, and when he pulled back, it was gone. I then looked down and saw my mouth was full of lettuce. I screamed and tried to spit out as much of the lettuce as I could, but some slithered down my throat and ended up in my stomach. I tried to shove a finger down my throat and make myself vomit, but I wasn't successful. I then heard a voice from behind me. "Bobby, I think you might just have to clear your schedule. Your bowels are starting to turn you inside out." It was none other than Dr. Phil McGraw. Dr. Phil was standing inside my living room. He stepped closer. His mustache then exploded in detail. It's not hair. No, not in the slightest. To my horror, I found out what his mustache really is made of. It's lettuce. It's true. Dr. Phil's mustache is made out of lettuce. "Feeling your tum-tum begin to feel a little funky, Bobby? You little pussy bitch?" My face contorted in anger, and I told the TV star to get the fuck out of my house. He got in my face. His breath smelled of cheesy gordita crunches with a sweet afternote of Cinnabon Delights. He began to lose his cool. "You're in this predicament because you wanted to cheat at Monopoly like a little cheater. Little cheater, you, okay? You want to know what I do with cheaters, Bobby?" His lettuce mustache began to sweat. "Oh, they get put on the ranch." Of course, he was referring to none other than Turnabout Ranch, the one that has had a few stories of mistreatment of residents tacked onto it. "You're gonna go to that ranch, you're gonna shovel horse shit day in and day out, and you're gonna do it all while your ass shovels shit out of itself into your britches, okay?" I didn't have enough time to respond. My stomach began to churn. It churned as Dr. Phil stood there, smiling. A twisting pain in my stomach doubled me over as I tried to make a run for the bathroom. And just as I was stumbling towards the hallway, my body basically folded in half, and a rocket of liquid diarrhea shot out of my ass in Mach 20, firing a hole through my undergarments and premium Levi jeans. Spraying Dr. Phil with molten fecal fudge, the likes of which the world had never seen before. The shit stream hit McGraw like a power washer to a leaf in the wind, and blasted him through my front door, covering him head to toe in my torrent of anal fluid. He began to scream and holler in a demonic manner as his form began to melt and mix with the fecal fondue. The form then
slithered away and promised revenge on me one day as I scrambled to the toilet and prayed to a god, any god, gods that I don't even know exist, to put an end to the absolutely abhorrent and agonizing anal anguish I was enduring. I passed out on the toilet after losing too much water to the ass evacuation I was under. I woke up 3 days later in a hospital. They had to stitch my anus back together. Apparently, a neighbor called for a welfare check after first complaining about a repugnant odor that was beginning to encapsulate the neighborhood. I wasn't allowed to shit for 3 weeks. All I could think about was that damn tape that was once grafted onto my former friend's dick. Speaking of Jimmy, he never did recover from having a tape attached to his groin for decades. I heard he's had several surgeries to attach a new penis, but his body rejected it every time. I was thinking about giving him a call once this is all over. If you see Dr. Phil these days, he may look a little off. That's because my dookie never separated from his body. Now, Dr. Phil is more shit than man. He gets regular fiber injections straight into his body to firm himself up, or else he collapses into a pile of shit and the cruel mimicry of a person. Otherwise, he looks like any other person, like you or me. But they say, if he's close, you may just get a strong odor of diarrhea. And as soon as this recording stops, I'm going to go take a shit myself. Bye.